Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mr. Cox, and we are getting ready to make our next chess piece. This is take 4. I've already tried this 3 times. Each time I have made an error, and I want to make sure that you have the best opportunity to be successful. I'm going to go to Tinkercad. You guys know how to get that through 235planmountweebly.com, and I am going to create a new design. First thing we're going to do, we are going to change the file name, and it's going to be Bishop with your first name, and I will put Mr. C4 because this is the 4th time I've tried this. But you just put your first name, don't put my name. Next, we're going to come down here to Edit Grid. We're going to change from metric to standards. We're going to change from millimeters to inches. We're going to update grid, and there we have it. We have our work plane. We know this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and the z-axis is our height. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to build the base. The base is going to be the same. I'm going to change my color. I find that working with a lighter color gives me a better image. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to change the parameters to 1.125. 1.125. That's my base. I'm going to pull out a whole block. A whole box, they're calling it. And I am going to change the parameters of just the X and the Y. So I'm just going to drag it out a little bit. It doesn't have to, it's very unimportant what the size. We just need to cut off the top of this cone. So now I'm going to raise it up 0.125. And I have found that often when I move it, it moves exactly to 0.125. So I'm going to drag it over on top of my cone. I'm going to align it. Again, I said this in my previous 3 videos. You don't really have to make a big box to go around it. You can just make a little slither, and it's going to grab both of them. We're going to align on the X and the Y axis, and I'm going to group. Up here is your group. Okay. The program seems to have frozen. Let's see what happens now. There we go. Now we are going to make the body for the bishop. It's going to be a little bit different than everything else, but we're going to use the cone again. We're going to change the parameters of the X and Y to 0.7. 0.7. And then we're going to go get another whole block. We're not going to raise it up. We're going to leave it right here at this dimension. And we are going to raise the whole block 0.675. Okay. 0.675. Then I'm going to make sure my handles are off. Drag it over there around the whole box. I'm going to align and group. Now we have a part of the body. We need to get the top half. So what we're going to do, we're just going to copy and paste this piece. Click on it, highlight it so the handles are on. Copy, and then paste. We have 2 of them now. I'm going to drag this piece over, and we are going to raise that up the height of the base. Most of you will remember the height of the base is 0.125. And see, I just dragged it up, and it came up 0.125. Right? I'm going to turn the handles off. If you leave your handles on, you risk changing your parameters. So just turn them off. I'm going to drag it over onto the base. I'm going to align them. And after I align them, I'm going to group them. Let me double check something here. Yeah, I got that. Okay. So now we have part of the body. Now for the second half, we need to flip this over. So these two pieces right here, they should connect perfectly. So I am going to click on this, and if you see that little arrow right here, the one going with the curve with the arrows at each end, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees, so it's upside down. Now, in order to get the body to an inch height, we need to cut off the top of this. So I'm going to pull out another cube, and we are going to raise this one up 0.325. 0.325. Enter. And then I'm going to pull them over together, and I'm going to align them. Make sure I have the X and the Y axis, and I'm going to group. Now, I want to verify my height, so this should be 0.8, and so I'm clicking on the high point right here. It says 0.8. So I'm going to raise this up 0.8. Right? I'm going to drag one of them to the other. I'm going to align on the X and on the Y, and I'm going to group. It's funny how they change that. So this should be 1.125. So there's the body of our pawn, of our bishop. You can hear me printing in the background. Alright, so now we need to make the base. Another base up here. So I'm going to drag out a cylinder. We are going to change the parameters to 0.7. 0.7, and we are going to change the z-axis to 0.1. We are going to raise that up to 1.125. 1.125. I'm going to drag it over to the top of the piece, and I'm going to align again and group. Okay. And we're just about done. We have one more, a little bit of a challenge piece, so we're going to just keep moving. We're going to pull out a spear. We are going to change this, the shape of the spear just a little bit. We're going to change that to point. Geez, what are we going to do? 2.5. Let's see what that looks like. No, that's too small. Let's change it to 0.5. And let's change the side one, the x-axis to 0.5. And we can change the z-axis to 0.75. Okay? So it should look similar to that. I'm going to click and copy and paste it, because we're going to use another one of these, this very similar shape. So we're going to raise this up to 1.225. Let's change it to 1.224. 1.224, because we want it to stay, we want it to blend well with this. So we're going to drag that over. We're going to align it. And I'm going to group it. Okay? So we're looking a little more like a bishop. But one thing about the bishop, let me show you the picture that I have here. The bishop is named the bishop because it looks, here is the picture of the bishop crown, so it has a little crack in the middle, like a cut in the middle, and we're going to add that to our cut. We're going to add that to our shape. So what we need to do is pull out a whole block, and we're going to change that parameter, the x parameter, to 6.07. So it's going to be like a slither. We're also going to rotate it. Click on that and rotate it 22 degrees. So if we get the front view of it, it's going to look like this. If yours went the other way, it's probably just the way we were facing it. With whatever one we're going to, we clicked on it. So I'm going to make sure I'm working on my x-axis. Matter of fact, I'm going to undo and see if I can do that better, because I must have done something wrong. 22. Undo again. Don't forget you have that undo button up there. I'm going to get a different view here. Okay. I'm going to go negative 22, because I want it to go that way. Alright, so now this is going to come down to individual preference and how well you can do this. We're going to raise this up. Let me pull it over and align them just to get them close to each other. And now I'm going to pull up, get a front view, and I'm going to pull this up. And I want it to be cutting into the little spear we have up on the top. Right now, I clicked on that. Now I'm just using my keyboard to maneuver it. I do need to go up a little higher. Okay. It's definitely still, it's coming down too low. We want it just to be a slice cut, just a slice cut through the side of it. This is going to be your design, so I want you to make sure you put it wherever you want, but it's got to have a cut through it. The top, that spear has to have a cut through it. I can align these now on the X. No, I don't want a center on the X-axis. I want it to be off to the side. And again, mine is not quite right. I've moved it. So I'm going to play with it just a little bit, again with my keys, my arrow keys. And that looks pretty good to me. You may have to go around. You don't want to cut too low, but that looks pretty good. I'm going to group it. And now my bishop has a little cut into it. Now what we're going to try to do, we're going to make this ball, this spear, small. So I'm going to grab one of the corner handles and I'm going to hold the space bar and I'm going to shrink it. That didn't work. So I'm just going to change the size to 0.0. That didn't work. 0.07. And I'm going to change this one to 0.07, and the top one I'm going to make 0.1. You might have to roll in a little bit to see it, but we are going to raise that up, and I got to get my top, got to get my high point here. So I'm going to write it down. I have, it's 1.974. So we're going to, you can roll in so you can see it. I'm going to raise it up. .97. Enter. Now I'm going to roll out. I'm going to drag it over to my top of my bishop. I'm going to align it. Get a good look at it, and that's going to be my bishop that I hope you will be successful with. You may have to make lots of mistakes. You saw how I did it. I made lots of mistakes, and that's that. There are 2 bishops on each side of a chessboard, so I'm going to click on it. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste. I'm just going to leave it at 2 for now. I hope this is helpful. If you're doing this on your own, let me know when you get it done, and thank you so much.